Welcome to today's webinar. This is on overview of AutoPass license server, and this is from UFT license perspective. So my name is Sanjeev Ranjan. I'm technical account manager for UFT family products within SaaS organization. As this is a webinar, you will not be able to unmute yourself. However, you do have a question tab on your GoToMeeting where you can write down your questions and I'll go through and try to answer those questions at the end of sessions. You will also get a link of recorded session afterward. So let's get started. So first of all, let's understand what is AutoPass license server. So AutoPass license server, mostly called as APLS, is OpenText web-based solution for managing your software product licenses. It helps you organize and manage your product licenses, server users, and client users. So this is an offering which enables management of licenses and uses for software products centrally. So from the context of UFT, the AutoPass license server manages the UFT licenses acquired from the license portal. These UFT licenses are then installed on AutoPass license server. When a UFT client computer needs a license, the client sends a request to AutoPass license server, and a license is checked out for this particular user, or mostly you can say for that particular UFT machine. So using AutoPass license server gives you a different kind of advantages, like you get a centralized license management. Uh, APLS helps you to manage the licenses for products supporting floating license model. You can have users tracking and report. APLS tracks the current licenses in use as well as the user's history for APLS administrator to get a quick trend report on the feature uses. Another one is license reservation and blocking. So APLS allows a reservation of license capacity for groups of client. Different type of floating license. So AutoPass license server has two main types, live and commuter licenses. Live is for the product users who are in same network as APLS and can auto renew license as long as the product is active. Commuter is for those who are not always in the network and need license for longer duration without the need for renewal. So APLS does support that. Role-based authorization. So APLS web UI is accessed by administrator, or you can say many people can access it, but there's an option to create users to view or allow license management through the web. So you have role-based authorization as well. So now you have another option to borrow licenses. So basically, if one APLS is looking for more clients or to serve more clients and it doesn't have enough licenses, so one APLS can borrow additional licenses from another AutoPass license server available within the same network. So that feature of borrowing license is quite handy in terms of load balancing the client's licenses needs thereafter. Installation and resources. So AutoPass license server installations are available on Marketplace, where you will find the latest version along with previous releases as well. So we do have a very extensive documentation available within Help Center, which provides detailed description of each feature of APLS along with the steps to install and deploy within your premise. So now let's talk about AutoPass license server main modules and its distinct features. So AutoPass license server distinct features are basically categorized under four modules, you can say. The first one is license, second reservation, commuter, users, and reports. So let me log into AutoPass license server. Hope you can see that. So here, once you click on the dashboard icon, you see all those four modules which are available for us to use. So let's go to each one of them one by one. So let's go first one for install under the license module. So in license module, you can basically install your licenses. This can be done coming to license, go to install, and here you get an option to add a file. So this is a button where you can just click on it, and the license file in which you would have received from the license portal or whosoever has been assigned to you in terms of licensing team, you will receive that file, and you can just add that file to here in terms of installing that license on your AutoPass license server. Another section is view. So once the license has been installed, you can see its properties such as product number, capacity, start date, expiry date, when it was installed and who has installed it, and so on. So all these details of installed licenses can also be viewed here. And also there is a feature in case if you are not looking for using this license, or you don't want to check out licenses from this one, you can basically select this and archive it. So once you click on this license, click on archive button, and this license gets moved to archive section of your AutoPass license server. So I'm not going to archive that one, so let's go to archive section. So this is the section where you will see all the archive licenses which you don't want users to connect to and check out their licenses. Borrow. So if an AutoPass license server needs additional license to fulfill client user request for a product or feature, the AutoPass license server can borrow. The process of taking license capacity from one license server to another AutoPass license server is designed under Borrow tab of licenses. So this is done by going to Borrow tab, and you need to click on Borrow License button over here. And here you will get an option, or basically you need to identify that from which AutoPass license server you want to borrow certain licenses and for which feature. So this is the place where you select your version of your product, you select what features you need, and then what capacity you need. So you may be needing just 10 licenses, so you can enter that, and what is the expiration date for that borrowing activity. So you need to provide that, and then host name or the details of the target AutoPass license server from which you want to borrow. So you need to provide that, and then once you provide that, you click on borrow button and you are done. So you will be getting those license borrowed from that destination AutoPass license server. Another feature is cleanup. So let's move to slide deck to understand what is UFT cleanup. So in this case, the user can perform license cleanup, the process of restoring license capacity for a feature or a product due to system crash or clock tampering, basically. So to perform a license cleanup, the user must contact the support team for license cleanup key. And once user apply that license cleanup key, the license capacity is restored to its previous level. So you need to understand what is clock tampering, or if there is a crash on the system on APLS and you don't want things to go messy and you want to restore it back, you need to do a license cleanup for that. Now, moving on to the next module of AutoPass license server. So we will come to reservation module, and let's talk about the different features which comes under reservation module of AutoPass license server. Let's click on manage pools. So here basically under reservation tab, I can create pool, and pool is basically a way for us to reserve license capacity for our users. So once I create a pool, you will basically assigning a group of users to that particular pool. So let's go ahead and create a new pool. I'll give a name, and click on create. So now I see that a pool demo has been created. So there are a number of ways to add users to this particular pool. So it's basically, we call it as adding client attributes to a particular pool. So here under pool attribute, you will see uh, different attributes through which you can basically add a client or a UFT machine user to that a particular pool. So you can add it, let's say you want to add it with a name, and I just click on add. So it will add me to this new pool demo. So I'm part of this, but it may be in a scenario where you want to add a machine with certain IP or a certain username, you can do that. So you just need to add a particular attribute and give details about that attribute and click on add, and that user will be part of this one particular pool which we just created. Now let's move to feature. So once I have my user pool created, I added my client, I now decide how I'm going to use my licenses. Is this going to be a feature-based reservation, or I'm going to use the product reservation type? So to add licenses pool by feature, I need to navigate to the feature tab. And at the very top, you will see a product version. So you need to select your version, and then based on your selection, you will see this list down here getting refreshed, and all the features of that product will be listed down. So now I need to select the product, and based on the feature which I'm going to allow for a certain pool, I need to select that feature ID. So let me select that, and here you will see a section associate a pool and a dissociate a pool. So I need to click on associate a pool, and you will find out all those existing pools of your AutoPass license server here. So let me select that pool demo, and I'm going to add associate to pool. So now this pool is here. So you'll see a different attributes or fields over here, which we need to understand. So the first one is you need to reserve a capacity for that pool. So that means how many licenses you want to assign for that particular pool for UFT. So I'm going to put 2. Now you move to right, and you'll see find out a couple of attributes or properties basically which we need to define. So here you have allow, block, restrict. So basically what I need to decide is to do I need to allow all the client connection to be made to this particular pool. So, so allow here is meaning that pool will allow all the users to access that license server. Block pool will basically prevent all the user from accessing the license server. Next, we can decide to restrict or unrestrict the license pool. So here, let me allow that, and you'll see this is also getting auto-populated. So restrict and unrestrict means that a pool will restrict a user client in this pool from accessing a shared common pool. So if I'm going to restrict this pool, it will not be able to access any licenses which are part of a common or a shared pool. So that's the one thing which we need to decide while defining or designing your pool. So if you are going to restrict that, any user who is part of this pool will not be able to connect or check out any UFT licenses from any other pool which is common or shared by themselves. So you can't do that. So once you have defined that, you just need to click submit and you are done. So you have defined your pool and its capacity and the process and procedures for restrictions in terms of allowing or restricting the pool's uses. Now come to products. We have an alternative here basically to decide do we need to assign a pool to a product or do we need to assign a pool to a feature. So this feature here basically helps us in terms of selecting the whole product itself, not a particular feature of a product. So again, I'm gonna select my product here and you will see all the features here, but you don't get an option to select a feature. Here it's all the products will be selected. So anybody who is part of this pool, let's say pool demo, I'm going to allow it. Anybody who is part of this pool demo will be allowed to use the whole product itself. That means all the features will be allowed to access. And again, you have a restrict feature as well, which you can define here, assign the number of licenses for this particular pool, and then you can submit it. So that's it. So here you need to update this one and submit in terms of defining this pool for products. Now, let's move to next module, which is called Commuter. And Commuter has two submodules. They are called checkout and check-in. So let's understand what is checkout and check-in before I go into different features of APLS. So in terms of installing a license over UFT, what you need to do? You need to basically open UFT by going to UFT help and license wizard, and you'll see different kind of license models here. So first one is seat licenses. So this one is basically if you have a UFT machine and you want to just use a seat licenses, basically you give a locking code for that machine to your license team and they generate a license for you and give it to you and you install it. But now what if it's a concurrent license basically? So this is where AutoPass license server comes in, right? We can select a concurrent license and then enter our AutoPass license server hostname here and the port number which has been defined for your APLS server and connect to that. Once you are connected to the APLS server, you'll see a green signal here, connected, and you just need to click on install. Now let's talk about commuter license. What is commuter license? So commuter license is basically when you are traveling and at your source location you have a UFT license server or APLS accessible to you, but at the destination location it's not. So that's when your commuter license comes into the picture. So you click on commuter license, connect to APLS server, and you will see an option to check out certain number of licenses from APLS. So you can provide the number of days for which you want to check out that license and click on checkout. And that will be installed on your UFT machine. So basically, once you are done with the uses of UFT, or basically if the UFT license which you have checked out hasn't expired, you can basically check in all the licenses to APLS. So you checked out, you borrowed it, now it's time to return it back to AutoPass license server. So you come to commuter license, go to checked out tab, and you basically check in all the licenses, give it back to APLS. Now there is a third option, is basically install UFT remote commuter license. So this is the scenario where you are entirely disconnected from the whole network itself. Means you don't have APLS connectivity, you can't connect to it, but you still want to use APLS server in terms of using your UFT, and you have a certain projects going on. So at that point of time, remote commuter license comes to save you from that scenario. So basically, once you click on remote commuter license, it gives you an option to generate a request file. So there is a process or a procedure which you need to follow in terms of using this remote commuter license. So you need to, first of all, generate a request file, and this request file is being sent to AutoPass license server admin. The next step is basically the APLS admin receives your request file, and the APLS admin basically come to commuter license module of APLS, and that person basically check out a license for you from the APLS server itself and sends out a remote license txt file attaching it to the email and send it to you back. So what's the next step is basically, now you have got the license, you again go back to UFT, you open remote commuter license, you install that license which you received from AutoPass license server, and you have an option of installing license. You choose the file which you have received, and once you have received it, you have choose or selected that file, you will get an option to install it here, and you install it. So now again a scenario where you are done with using APLS, and now it's time to return it back to APLS itself. So now you don't need that license, whatever you had borrowed. So now again you will go back to UFT, you'll select remote commuter license, and you'll generate and save a check-in request. So basically you are raising a request to APLS that you want to return it back. And it's basically, once you click on that, it will create another file license request, which you need to send it to APLS admin. And APLS admin basically goes into APLS and go to Commuter and check in that license which he checked out previously for you. Again, he will add that file which he received from you, and that will be checked in. So that's the whole process of using commuter license remotely. So in case you are disconnected from everything, all the network of APLS, this is how UFT AutoPass license server helps you to manage the licenses and still be online and productive on UFT. Okay, so now let's move to next module, which is uses and report. So it has different reports basically. Let's take it one by one. So license users report. So it has, in terms of accessing license users report, you click on license report, users report here, and you get an option of feature ID. You click here on that link. And this is what you will see here basically. So users and reports have three different, you can say, submodules. And it has first, let's say, in use. So in use basically shows current active connections, and in this view you see different widgets basically. Widgets basically, the first one is overall uses. It shows in percentage, and it's basically calculate the number of licenses which are being consumed right now, calculated against total number of license which you have installed on APLS server. Second one is checkout type. Again, as I was mentioning, you have two type of checkout. One is live and another was commuter. So it will show you how many licenses are live and how many of them are being in way from commuter perspective, that has been checked out and given it to you, but you still not connected to APLS server itself. And again, you will see a pool-wise uses, which gives you a details of connected users against each pool which has been created. And that pool could be based on feature and could be based on capacity. Right, so this is what will tell you about the in-use. Again, you have a history. So this tab basically shows you all the historical data of connections of APLS, and this can be downloaded from APLS itself. The another tab is basically the rejected. So rejected section shows how many connections requests were rejected by APLS, and due to various regions. It could be that license has expired or license has exceeded, or basically through the pool you have not been allowed to connect to a certain feature of UFT. So that's how it gives you all the details of uh, the rejected connections by APLS. So that's what I have for today. Thank you all for joining this session, and again, have a great day ahead. Yeah, thank you.